Well, there have only been less than a handful of reported cases on this, so we don't know. There's no indication, there's no reporting mechanism, so you have no idea how many occur. I'll tell you, in my experience, most of them occur in Houston. Maybe that's because Houston's bigger than we have a huge medical center. There also are a couple systems in Houston that really invoke it quite frequently. One of the other ways that and for the life of me, I don't know why hospitals still do this, but there is another way that you can do it outside the system that's a lot easier for lawyers to seek review on, and that's if you just decide to use the guardianship route. Some hospitals do that. One of the things that with the guardianship route is you don't get any immunity. So that's why I would wonder, if I represented the hospital, I would say always do the Advance Directives Act. Always do the medical futility process, because even if you mess up, even if you have evil motives, it doesn't matter. If you follow the procedure, you're immune from everything. You can't even get your license reviewed. But some hospitals continue to do the guardianship route. Practically speaking, the hospital will allow anyone to speak. Now, the way the committee proceedings typically go is you'll have a physician from the hospital, or someone of the medical staff of the hospital present the hospital side or the physician side. The risk manager will usually kind of facilitate it. The physician will present first, then a nurse will present, and then they'll try to kind of cherry pick. If they found a family member who is kind of on that side, they'll try to cherry pick and go that way. So one of the things that I've experienced when that's happened is just say, the person who will speak first on behalf of the family will be the person who is the decision maker, the legal decision maker. 48 hours from a Friday, so Monday morning, you could be faced with one of these administrative proceedings that have a tremendous force. And the courts, unless you really have some excellent evidence, are very hesitant even to give any extension of the 10 days at all. Now, how hard do you think it'd be, just under the best of circumstances, to arrange a transfer in 10 days? That's including weekends. One of the things that you find here is it says here, for example, and this is where the devil's in the details, it says the physician of the facility shall give reasonable efforts to help transfer a patient. What's a reasonable effort to help transfer a patient? And so you think about it, just psychologically. The hospital has had a powwow. They've had their committee. They've had their group get together. The doctor, the risk manager have come in and they've said, look, this is medically futile to continue care. The committee says, yes, I agree. You have 10 days. And now the law says, hospital, doctor, now that you've just found that everything is medically futile, we want you to take reasonable efforts to find someone else to take care of this patient who doesn't believe that it's medically futile. How do you think that works out practically? Again, I came from a heavy defense background. Mary Ellen Conway, we worked together at Fulbright and Jaworski, so I was very little skeptical of some of these things. But then I've seen it firsthand in hearings. I've been at a hearing, I was at a hearing last year where the hospital had told their attorney that it would be impossible to find anyone to take the patient. We had the judge pick up the phone and call the person I'd listed in the pleadings. The administrator said, oh yeah, we'll be glad to accept the patient. The hospital's looking like, a little egg on the face. So I'm not at all saying that, or trying to taint hospitals or taint doctors or nurses or anyone else, because I think by and large, it's an excellent, excellent bunch of people that provide this type of care. But I just want to leave you with, this is a procedure that's there. People who are well-meaning, who want to take their view and say this is what's best for the family. And I think, honestly, my sense of it is most of the people who are acting under this statute really believe this is what the family needs to do. As the law exists now, the debate is over as to who gets the final say. It's not you, it's not the family, it's the hospital committee. So the question is, doctors refuse to honor a patient's advance directive. It's really the same situation. under the law, this could come up. It could be a will to withhold treatment or a will to have more aggressive or heroic measures taken. Either way, this procedure is there also for that. So, you know, doctors, the thing that I tell people about the advance directives is it really depends on the facility, what the facility wants. Same thing on these advance directives. Some facilities really honor the advance directives, and some facilities don't. I mean, one of the things that you could do, I think, that's the kind of, for clients that kind of raise the ante a little bit, is say, I think generally I'll say at all facilities, most healthcare providers in my experience seek to honor those. Now you have some that'll, some doctors or some nurses or administrators will try to wiggle around them, but if you went to a committee, probably the majority of the committee is going to agree with what the advance directive says, I think. Most of these medical futility cases that I've seen involve people who do not have advance directives, and that's important to think about. So one of the things that I've seen when I have that case is suggest to the ombudsman of the hospital or the patient care advocate that they convene an ethics committee to review the physician's refusal. Usually when you start doing that, the physician gets a little antsy and is more likely to comply with that advance directive. The other thing that I think is really important with the advance directive is we see a lot when there is not an advance directive in place where there are healthcare providers, again, without saying what the motivation is, if it's good or bad, that actually go to family members and start lobbying different family members to try to split the family. So, again, imagine the situation. You have someone sick in the bed. You have a risk manager, you have a nurse, you have a doctor coming and saying, look, you need to talk to so-and-so because this is hopeless. We really need to stop care. And so you're splitting families. This happens. When you have an advance directive, it's a lot easier for the family members to be in a strong position to know what the person in the bed wanted. And this is why it's so important. I think 2 reasons. Number one, those wishes of the person in the bed are known so the family members know better how to respond to the situation. And number 2, most healthcare providers, in my experience, would want to honor that.